And the issue is that the doctor said, I hear your story, Mr. Cowen, right? I hear what you're saying about what happened, but if that happened, there would have had to have been some evidence in the records anywhere of ecchymosis. And
Yeah, he said
Michael,
bleeding, bruising, or ecchymosis, and he used the word ecchymosis, and we look at each
right,
other.
we looked at each other because we had reviewed the records. And Michael says, well, tell me a little bit about what ecchymosis means, right? And so he goes on, he says, well, it's like bruising, bruising is basically the way that he described it. And we pull open the emergency room records, and in the handwritten intake chart, there was a big black drawing all over her leg that looked like a bruise. And right next to it, it said ECCY, which means in shorthand, ecchymosis, right?
Yeah.
And because it was handwritten on there by one of the intake people, it wasn't in his summary. He didn't know that it said that. And it was a big moment in the trial because we had already spent a lot of time explaining what that word meant to the jury. We had a medical dictionary, and we kind of knew that's where it might be going. But
Yeah, I think that's another point too. If you know you have things, you have to plan out your process in advance. You can't just wait till the night before. And so, if you know you have things where you may need to use medical literature, like in this case, we actually, when we had our expert on, we proved up a medical dictionary as a learned treatise. So that was reliable authority on what the term ecchymosis meant, that the picture in the medical dictionary fairly and accurately represented ecchymosis. So when the defense doctor said there was no ecchymosis, then he tried to, like when we showed him that the medical record said it, then he tried to say, well, that really means something different. And he tried to change it. And then we were able to get the medical dictionary out, have him read the dictionary definition, which said something like black, blue, it looks like bruising, and then show the picture and have each juror pass around and look at the picture of something that looked like a bruise. And so it was so awesome that we got to do that. But had we not had our own expert prove up that learned treatise, and there's so many great things, radiology textbooks, other medical textbooks and articles, if you know that you might want to use them to cross-examine the defense doctor, then you definitely want to have them proven up as a learned treatise. And just a couple, you don't even have to use them with your expert. Like, doctor, have you seen this article? Have you seen this chapter? Is this a reliable authority on X? Yes, it is. That's it. Now you can use it to cross-examine because you've established your foundation. And a lot of times the defense doesn't even read them. It's crazy.
yeah, well, and they don't really know what you're doing with it, I think, is a big part of it. And in that case, we spent a lot of time proving up this medical dictionary, talking about ecchymosis. And I don't think the defense realized it's because we knew their expert didn't realize there was ecchymosis, right? We
Yeah.
knew from his report that he missed that piece of it. And they still didn't tell him. I think because they just didn't put it all together.
Yeah.
They didn't tell him before he was cross-examined, and this happened on the stand. We thought for sure they would go back and tell him what we were doing, which is why we were surprised it still happened in trial, but it did.
And I'd also learned from Todd Tracy, who had cross-examined him a month before, that he didn't actually read all the records himself. He had someone else summarize them for him, and so I knew there's a good chance he would have done the same thing in our case. And so that's another, collaborating with other lawyers is really helpful in cross-examining these people and really bringing out the truth. But we got a verdict. We had actually made our client sign off in writing that she was going to trial against her advice and told her to
Right.
take an offer, and we got a verdict for 10 times that offer. I'm so happy we were wrong.
Yeah.
But we frankly could not have foreseen that. I think that cross examination won that trial for us.